Whatever you have to do. However long it takes. Promise me you'll find your way home. Furiosa. Give me this promise.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
The darkest of angels. The question is, do you have it in you to make it epic?
I've waited all year, and finally it's here. For 30 straight days, it's a month-long movie craze. That's right, I'm ready to post a podcast each day. I watched a movie, and now I've got stuff to say. 'Cause movie month is here, yes dear, in case I wasn't clear. 30 movies, films that I've never seen. Cast, podcast, from first day of month to last. In June, all June, this is my movie month too. Been doing this for 12 years, I'll pause for applause and cheers. Okay, well, maybe not, but please follow all month long. 'Cause movie month is here, yes dear, in case I wasn't clear. 30 movies, films that I've never seen. Cast, podcast, from first day of month to last. In June, all June. Listen and subscribe is what you should do. Apple, Spotify, and yes, on YouTube. Listen and subscribe, come on, don't be rude. Listen and subscribe all June.
Good day. I'm not even going to try to do an Australian accent. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's Tuesday, June 3rd, which means for the third day in a row, I watched a movie I've never seen. And for the third day in a row, I am here talking about it. Ladies and gentlemen, for the second day in a row, I watched a movie on Netflix. As today, I watched the 2024 George Miller dystopian action film, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. And here's the thing. 10 years ago to the day, I went to see Mad Max Fury Road in the theater and posted a blog post about it for Movie Month back in 2015 when it was still just a blog before it became a podcast. This was the final year of the blog. 14 and 15 were the blog. 16 started the podcast. But literally, I went to this at the AMC Theater, the same place I was the other day to see Ethan Hunt. I was there 10 years ago today with my brother and I believe our buddy Dave. Not Dave from Fine Movies, Fine Spirits. Dave from my Wonder Woman episode many, many years ago as well. I looked it up literally before I hit record here. I said, I want to link back to the Fury Road post to try to connect these two. So if someone can, goes to the show notes or goes to the website, they can easily click over to the old post. And then I saw June 3rd. That's today's date. And here we are. I just thought that was kind of an awesome coincidence, dumb luck, that 10 years ago I stuck my face on a war boy's body. I think I would. I guess their face was a little whiter than the body. It doesn't look that great. I think I'm on Nicholas Holt's body. And I remember when I saw this in the theater, I didn't know who Nicholas Holt was at the time. I mean, I knew he was in X-Men First Class. But I thought for a little while in this movie that he was the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. I was like, that guy's an actor? He's in this? I knew he wrote comic books, but I didn't know he acted. It wasn't him, so I don't know why I'm still talking about it. But that's the thing. I remember loving the movie. I remember loving Furiosa and loving Charlize Theron. I remember saying, they could do anything to her to ugly her up, to add all this crazy makeup, rip her arm off, and I still love her. In fact, maybe I love her even more. And I have to say, not that far off from today's movie and the new Furiosa, Anya Taylor-Joy. Or I guess she's half of Furiosa, because there's a few things that I wasn't expecting in this movie. The first one was not seeing Anya Taylor-Joy until an hour into the movie. Before that, it was the younger girl, the younger Furiosa, because I was like, Anya Taylor-Joy plays the younger Furiosa. Well, then Aliala Brown, do I have the right actress's name? I just have the IMDb next to me. Yes, she plays the youngest Furiosa, and she was, she played the character for an hour into this movie. Not the majority of the movie, but almost half of it. So I wasn't expecting that. And then the other thing that I really did not realize was that Chris Hemsworth is basically the villain. I went into this thinking he is her partner. He is he's going to help her fight Immortan Joe. Whereas Immortan Joe was kind of just there. Now, he couldn't be defeated because he comes up later in Fury Road, 10 years later, at least for me, or 10 years. Wait a minute. I guess, would they say? Well, it doesn't matter because this isn't in real time. So 10 years ago, Immortan Joe, played by a different actor. That actor is no longer with us. This guy looked the part, played the part, but it was a younger version, so it worked out fine. But he couldn't be the main villain. It makes sense because he needs to be there to be the main villain in Fury Road. And Chris Hemsworth, as great as Anya Taylor-Joy was, Chris Hemsworth, I feel like, stole the movie, or just I shouldn't say he kind of stole the movie. He stole every scene he was in. He really got to ham up and exaggerate his Australian accent. I read that he kind of based it on his grandfather and a carnival barker. Because he is Australian, but I feel like he went overboard. There's my Boston accent coming out. Overboard. He really, British accent has the Cockney. So I don't know if there are different names for different dialects of Australian accents, or as far as how the accent is, how strong it is, how affected it is. Not effective, but affected. If I think I'm getting my point across. That he kind of exaggerated the overly Australian. Okay, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to do it. I like to do it in my own time. I'm not going to do it here on the microphone. So this movie came out last year, and I remember thinking, really? They didn't bring Charlize back, but it's a prequel, so they couldn't. And I knew this actress. I've never seen Queen's Gambit, so I've seen her. I've seen her in the M. Night Shyamalan Split, in The Menu, and in New Mutants. Those are the movies that I've seen her in for movie month. And I guess Glass too. I think she's in Glass as well. And she was great. She was great. It just she wasn't in most of the movie, all of the movie. I thought maybe we'd get 10 minutes of this young kid and then boom, off to the races. But nope. It was that way for a while. The gist of the movie is that she lives in some nice utopia. There's a wasteland out there. It's a very dystopian future that we all know from the Mad Max movies. And she is in some area that is like a utopian oasis where they actually can grow things. And she gets kidnapped by some kooky bikers. Her mom goes to take her back, but they get caught up in Dementis, who is Chris Hemsworth's character. And I kept waiting for him to be like, oh, we think he's the villain, but he isn't. And then I realized the whole time, oh no, I guess he is the villain. Like there was one shot on IMDb or like an image or something where it showed him like holding the head of, is it Praetorius Jack? And I love these names. And Furiosa. And I said, oh, look, he must come around because he's embracing them. And no. This is when he catches them and he basically gets that Jack dude jacked up and killed and tortured. And Furiosa rips her own arm off. The moment I saw that map, I thought to myself, oh, she's never getting home because she won't have the map. And I'm all over the place, but you've seen this movie. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this. So she had this map tattooed on her arm. That was her way to get back home. Her mother gets tortured and killed. She ends up with Chris Hemsworth, but she wants to get away from him, Dementis, so much that she actually goes to Immortan Joe and all the war boys. And whereas in Fury Road, you're against them, in this movie, you're kind of on their side. Because you're just on whoever side Furiosa is on. Furiosa isn't really on their side. She's trying to get away from them too. But as far as winning between the Gas Town, which is Chris Hemsworth, Dementis' people, and the Citadel, which is Immortan Joe, and I'm trying to remember a lot of this. I literally just finished watching it. This is the latest movie I've done in the first three because on Sunday, I went to a 10 a.m. screening of a movie. Well, I went to see a movie in the theater. Yesterday, I finished my movie before 8 a.m. And today, it's 9:53 as I'm talking to you right now. I'm tired. So she wants to get away from them. She's with them for a while. She hides the fact that she's a girl because one of the guys, I think his name is Rectus Erectus, because why not? I'm pretty sure my first like glimpse at this dystopian world and characters like this was Weird Science and not Mad Max. I'm almost positive. And then I realized that, I thought, they're the people from Mad Max. No, it's kind of playing on those people, making fun of those people. Not making fun of them, but kind of an homage to the Mad Max world. A lot of ums in this late at night. I'm trying to think of all the stuff I just watched. I mean, so she ends up with this guy, Praetorian Jack, who we like and kind of becomes her partner. And that's where we get kind of the best scene for me in the whole movie. The best action scene is this whole thing where they're on this big rig and they're trying to deliver vegetables to, I guess, Bullet Town to get bullets. They basically trade commodities and they get hijacked and I'm tired. They get hijacked, and it turns into a classic kind of action fight with you got war boys bouncing around, killing themselves on purpose. You got these dudes on bikes who then are towing other guys on parachutes. You got other people like with fans behind them. I mean, it was spectacular. I'm sure there was digital, trickery, but a lot of it seemed practical. I know in Fury Road they really pushed how much the practical was used. Am I wrong that it was like almost everything except the dust storm? I feel like in this, probably a little less, but I could be wrong. So the moment I saw that map on her arm, I thought, that's how we lose the arm. It's because of the map. And I was wrong. That was another thing I was wrong about. So I thought someone was going to take her arm so that they could use the map to get back to this oasis where it's a land of abundance, or that she was going to force herself to chop off her arm to keep it away from people. And then it just kind of Dementus's monster truck rubbed up against the arm, and that was the gross one I wasn't expecting, where it really messed her arm so much, and then he was hanging her from her arm, and she just ripped it off and ran. And I said, okay, that's awesome too. For the longest time, I thought one of is it Immortan Joe's sons? I thought it was Walton Goggins, just with a really extra brow. It wasn't, but he just looked like Walton Goggins on like some sort of space steroid. I do like that kind of his sons are all weird, and because they're all kind of mutated. I don't know. It's never been established, or I shouldn't say that. I don't know if it's ever been established of a year. I don't know if I ever remember hearing a year. When I was a kid, to me, I feel like The Road Warrior and Mad Max, I probably saw those movies at some point. But the one I remember, because I was just the age I was at, was Beyond Thunderdome. We don't need another hero. I mean, that, and the term Thunderdome, like, that was right at the right age for me to, had a pop song, MTV at the time, all that stuff, that's the one that stood out to me. And then that was the last one for 30 years or so until they bring Tom Hardy out. And isn't that the story where Tom Hardy and Charlize just drastically did not get along? So it was almost like, okay, we're going to give her own movie. But I read that George Miller wrote such a backstory for Furiosa that it basically became the screenplay for this movie. They had this all planned out before they even did Fury Road to give this character her story. And I think that's awesome. So when I think to myself, oh, they retrofitted this to, retconned it to make it, retrofit for those who listen to that retrofit, pop culture retrofit podcast. We need new episodes. So what was I saying? Oh, so it wasn't actually retrofitted, that these characters, this story was created that way already. And there is another movie that's been in the works, but again, that was 10 years ago. It looked like Tom Hardy's still attached to it, at least based on IMDb stuff that I'm seeing. And I mean, anyone I think could edit that. So it doesn't look like, I can't imagine it's going to happen. And one of the reasons why is this movie bombed. It bombed. It made $64 million in the US. They would kill for Snow White numbers. And it didn't connect. And it was last summer. There was a couple movies like that just didn't connect with the box office. It was that, and I think another future movie month pick with Ryan Gosling. I think you know what it is, based on a television show. but I feel like both of those didn't connect, but they were well received by the people who did see them. And this was critically acclaimed, and I'm glad I watched it. I had Chris is listening to this. He was like, "Oh, this movie's incredible. You got to see it." And I wish I did see it on the big screen. It probably would have looked spectacular. Instead, I had my 15-inch computer screen 2 inches from my face, so it felt like a big screen. Not exactly the same, but I could still appreciate the epicness of the look of this film, the set design, the site design, just the visual design is gorgeous. Even when a lot of it's just brown, it just looks incredible. Whatever use of practical effects and practical scenery was like awesome. There was one scene where there's a fight where Chris Hemsworth's crew gets raided by Praetorian Jack and Furiosa, and at one point, one of the bad guys takes a flamethrower and goes to shoot, I think, Jack with it, and it's like he shoots it right at us, right at the screen, and I was just like, that was cool. And then we ended up with that awesome epic shot of Anya Taylor-Joy with her back up against like this metal fence and the fire burning around her, which kind of is, for a movie that didn't do well, to me that's the iconic shot of this movie. So the story ultimately starts as a girl wanted to get her way home, and it turns into a girl wanting revenge for her mother. And the sad thing is, at the end, or for the while, Chris Hemsworth barely remembered who the mother was. Like, which one is she? Like, he was a bastard. I was going to try to do wait a minute. Australian bastard would be wallaby. You're a bastard. I don't know. That wasn't very good. But I loved his nose. I don't know why. It was just to make him look a little less Chris Hemsworthy. A little less like a bohunk or whatever. Chris Hemsworth. You give him a long hair and a wig. I remember being like, oh, he's just dressed like Thor. No, he's definitely different in this, and that nose goes a long way, and his skin and his accent and his acting. He was awesome. He was the best part of this movie, as much as Anya Taylor-Joy was awesome and great as Furiosa. To me, Chris Hemsworth's Dementus stole the movie. So once he realizes who she was, then he's almost like, he's defiant the whole time. He doesn't care. He's like, you're going to kill me and you'll have the memories and I'll be done with it. It's whatever. It is what it is. And I do like that the end was kind of gave you this almost like fairy tale feeling where it's like she could have just shot him. It's like the end of Clue. But maybe it ended like this, where she just dragged him along and tortured him. And it seems like, if I got this correct, that she somehow planted him under, and a tree is being grown and he is wasting away under the tree. That's him, right? So I don't know. It looked torturous. It didn't look like fun, but it was a cool visual. I'll say that. The movie was, God, another long one. It was like 2 hours plus, 2:20, something like that, or whatever it was. It was the longest Mad Max movie of all of them. It's funny now, if you see a 90-minute movie, you're going to feel like that movie's really short. And there was a time where movies were just, like, at least a lot of the movies I saw were 90 minutes. I remember years ago going to a movie theater, going to go see a movie with my girlfriend and her mom, also known as my wife and mother-in-law. And I remember saying to myself, or telling them, oh, they didn't know how long the movie was. I was like, oh, it's at least 2 hours. Like, how do you know that? I'm like, oh, this movie, these types of movies are at least 2 hours. And I believe it was was it Last Man Stand? No, what's the movie with Susan Sarandon and Sean Penn and he's on death row? Whatever that was. I was like, oh, that movie's got to be 2 hours. It was just kind of like you knew that dramas like this were at least 2 hours. And I think I was right. This one, though, it looks like Fury Road was 2 hours. This one was 2:28, and I read it was the longest of all the Mad Max movies. And I think it might be the last, unfortunately, because George Miller's 80 friggin' years old. I remember being like, he's still directing these movies at 70? That was 10 years ago, and he still directed it. And the direction, the visuals, the camera stuff, I was in awe of the different shots that they got. Just awesome. And the fact that this guy's still doing this and still wanting to do this and still wanting to do this world is just, it is a credit to him and a credit to the Mad Max world. And I read a quote. Chris Hemsworth said, the importance of Mad Max. He says, America has Star Wars. England has Harry Potter. In Australia, we have Mad Max. I think the Mad Max series seems to be a big deal in Australia. So I would imagine that, there it is again, that this movie did well there. And Australia has one of the best Lego Masters in the world, too. I don't mean like a person. I mean the TV show, Lego Masters Australia. Oh, so good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to mention. I don't think so. It's just it's a visual masterpiece. The story's very simple. It doesn't. We're not looking for intricate intrigue. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't see that coming. No, it's really not about that. It's about just visceral visuals, and sound, and just action. That to me is, at least these last two movies, I don't remember enough how the originals looked. It's like crazy visuals, over the top characters, and just this action, this world, all of it put together. It just works. It just didn't work at the box office. And, I feel like there could have always been a TV show based on this, especially after Fury Road. I thought, that there was going to, maybe I'm misremembering and there was actually a rumor of a TV show, but you could see something like this on a prestige streamer. And I feel like that would, you could extend the story that way without the fear of the box office mishap that seemed to be happening with this one. I realize I haven't done much in the way of really getting into the meat of this movie, but that's movie month. I hit record and I just go, and here we are. I think I'm going to end it right now because I'm tired and you're tired, and it's only day 3. I'm going to be back again tomorrow. I think the most spectacular thing is the spectacular coincidence that it is 10 years to the day that I saw Fury Road. So there's that. That'll always make this kind of spooky and awesome. And I don't think anything like that will ever happen again in movie month, unless 10 years from now we see Mad Max. I can't think of anything. Another Mad Max, and it's a whole different guy. They get someone else to be Mad Max this time. It's Timothy Chalamet, as you've never seen him before. Mad Max. Oh, no, wait. Timothy Chalamet, as you've never seen him before. Wonka is back in the wasteland. Oompa loomp. And then he gets shot. I don't know. Okay, I'm done. Listen, I'll be back tomorrow. So forgive me for this one. Great movie. I'm scatterbrained all over the place because I need to go to bed. I'm on fumes right now. And I need to watch another movie tomorrow. In fact, I need to watch 2 movies tomorrow because I'm going to watch a movie for a different podcast that I'm recording Thursday night. So I've got to do earlier shows Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. But there's a good chance that I'm going to the movies again this weekend. I'm going to the theater to see a film. That's the Scuttlebutt. So stay tuned for that. But again, we'll be back tomorrow to talk another movie, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I have a couple movies on the list that I want to get to, so I might get those right out of the way, or I might space them out and throw in a short one. There's a few in there that I want to get to, that I'm going to get to. I'm just trying to figure out when in the month, and I've only got 27 other movies to go, so I'm running out of time. Anyway, okay, I'm done. I said anyway at least 20 times, so I'm really going to leave now. You can find me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok, which is Geek Mentality Mike. You can find the Facebook page at Fans Not Experts, the YouTube channel at Fans Not Experts. That's because the website is fansnotexperts.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following. If you're on YouTube, you can leave a comment. If you're on Spotify, you can leave a comment. If you're on iTunes, you can leave a review or a rating, just to let me know that you're out there. I will talk to you tomorrow, but until then, here is my theme song.
This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe, 'cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans Not Experts.